A very good morning. Thanks for getting on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Approaching a week from Christmas, and no real change in what I've been saying. I'm still pretty confident in terms of the cold weather coming. Got a pretty interesting fight going on next week between the Atlantic and the continent here, but I strongly believe that we are heading for some very interesting times, particularly so from about Christmas through the new year. I think that could be a very wintry spell indeed, and the models are hinting on a reasonable amount of snow cover on the ground even by Boxing Day, and we'll get to that in just a second. First and foremost, I want to say a massive thanks to everybody for following these videos. I'm noticing it's about 2,500 hits per video now, and I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers. So I do encourage you to continue watching the videos, share them, say to your friends about them. If you're enjoying the videos, please do that, because it certainly does help me, and I'm really enjoying doing these videos. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. Of course, by profession, I'm a lorry driver. I generally do about 60 to 65 hours a week, roughly about 45 hours behind the wheel every five days or so. So I do a lot of work, away from weather, but certainly it's very much worth doing these videos and continuing to do them when you've got the feedback, when you've got the support there. So I do really appreciate you basically clicking on these videos and even dropping a wee comment or hitting the like button. So continue to do that. We have got cold coming, but we've also got a fight going on, because the Atlantic is going to be very active next week as well. But so it's always interesting, actually. Every time there's a mild model run, you always get the comments coming through, "Oh, you're not going to be happy about the 12Z or the 0Z run." And when I do the video, I pinpoint the latest run of the GFS as an example, and but I don't use that as a forecast. And albeit some of the GFS runs are going for mild as well as cold, that is always going to be the case. And of course, when you've got such a dynamic weather pattern coming up next week, the modelling is going to fluctuate back and forth between a warm scenario and a cold scenario here. But certainly this latest run of the GFS continues with the theme that I'm going for. You make the forecast, you stick to it, and at the end of the day, it's either going to be right or it's going to be wrong. So I'm still very happy and content with what I'm seeing regarding the upcoming Christmas and New Year period, and I still believe firmly that we've got a very exciting pattern to come. So we're going to have a look at the latest GFS run for the upcoming week or so, and then we'll have a look at the longer term pattern, and that too is looking pretty favourable in terms of the overall forecast. So let's get to it. Let's have a look firstly at the snow forecast of the model here. So this is snow depth over Europe, and of course there's literally nothing over the UK. Of course, the warm weather that we've had recently, or mild weather should I say, has eaten away at all the snow cover, most of the snow cover, apart from the highest peaks of Scotland. So it's pretty barren out there when it comes to snow. But it's interesting, as we press through the next several days, not a great deal of change in terms of snow prospects here. I'll just try and pull this up slightly more so that you can see the date on that. And this is, of course, as of Sunday. But, of course, high pressure, in control, very strongly indeed. We're starting to see the atmosphere, especially at low levels, cooling down. Nights get colder, days get colder. Foggier conditions develop as well, and of course, as I've stated, during the daytime, temperatures really struggle in that fog. But at night time, however, the temperature can be leveled off in that moist environment. It tends to stop the cooling process when you've got fog in place. And then, of course, under clear skies at night, we see the temperature coming down here. But as we skip through the period, not a great deal of change. But it's then as we go into the week of Christmas, so starting off Monday, you start to see the snow filling in as we go through the period. And then this is the Friday the 24th. So this is, of course, on Christmas Eve. And look at this. You can start to see the UK turning white here. And this is by Boxing Day. Now, of course, take this with a pinch of salt. Still over a week away. This next latest model run could show no snow at all. But the fact is, it is showing snow, and the snow cover expands and it actually becomes deeper as we go forward. Naturally over the mountains, so the Pennines, Southern Uplands, the Highlands, some of the Welsh mountains as well, parts of Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. You can see here the snow. And then it's as we go through the period between Christmas and New Year, that snowpack remains in place. So what does that tell you? It tells you this. The cold is holding and in fact expanding the snow cover across the UK. But that is a very impressive looking New Year's Eve, isn't it? Across the UK, most of the UK is snow covered according to this latest GFS run here. Like I said before, actually, I think I said it in the last video, we could have a pretty snowy New Year. Very questionable with regards to Christmas, but certainly I think between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, I think there's going to be a build-up of snow across the British Isles here. So, yeah, I like what I'm seeing in terms of this overall scenario. Of course, like I said, this is the overview chart here. High pressure and control anchored over the British Isles. We're seeing the cold air filtering down. Low pressure over Eastern Europe, high pressure between Iceland and Norway. You've got a fetch of northerly winds blasting the Arctic air, polar air into the continent. So you're filling the continent of Europe with cold air, and of course the high pressure in place over the British Isles. We're getting that colder air filtering into the UK as well. The Atlantic, like I say, very active indeed. Lots of low pressure. The jet is pretty strong as well here. And we've got this fight, this battle going on. High pressure anchored over the British Isles. We've got this attack coming in from the west. We've got the colder air expanding in from the east. And that creates a very, very interesting and exciting setup here as we go through the final days. So low pressure, notice here in the latest run of the GFS, you can say that, look at that and say to yourself, Mark, there's milder Atlantic air coming back into the pattern again. But remember, the pattern's seeded. It's seeding the process as we go through the final days and the run up to Christmas here. That area of low pressure, by the way, is coming in to a block of cold air, likely or potentially right over the British Isles. So therefore, you've got the increased chance of snow. Now, of course, remember back to the snow chart, you start to see later on Christmas Eve, into Christmas Day and into Boxing Day, the UK turning pretty white. The reason being is we've got areas of low pressure from the Atlantic coming in to that block of cold air, and of course we're seeing precipitation come down and snowfall here. Coastal areas may get rain, but it's then as that area of low pressure moves on to the east, all that cold air that's been stacked up, built up close, if not over the British Isles, that area of low pressure then pushes to the east. It opens the door wide to Arctic or polar air into the UK. And then it's all systems go in terms of low pressure, cold air in place, and we'll start to build that snowpack over the UK. Remember, this is one model run. This is an example. This is not set in stone by any stretch. And we could have, all it takes is for there to be a little bit more milder air associated with that low pressure, maybe slightly less cold air in place over the British Isles. There's so many different aspects, so many different things to consider here. So nothing is written in stone, but it's certainly very, very exciting indeed. And you look at this here as we press through the period between Christmas and New Year. I think that's a very, very chilly outlook indeed. And of course, if you lay down the snowpack and you get some clear skies and light winds, we could be seeing temperatures well into double figures below freezing as well. So remember what I said, the potential is huge for something major between Christmas and New Year this year. It may be a modest cold spell, but it also could be a major cold spell that we've not seen in a long time. So there is a lot of things on the table when it comes to this overall setup here. Finally, let's look at the CFSV2 weeklies, and it's continuing to go with the theme, generally speaking. So this is week 1, 500 millibar height anomalies, bang slap over the UK, but extending towards Iceland here. So the overall idea is that we continue to filter cold into Europe, and of course that bleeds westwards here. But the Atlantic, there's still Atlantic weather undercutting that area of high pressure, and it creates a very interesting fight. This is week 2. So you can see here that the area of high pressure is far enough west and north that it opens the floodgates to colder pattern coming in. This is the period, of course, 23rd to the 30th of December here. So that takes in Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and of course the run up to the New Year. And then, of course, even the period between the 30th of December, the 6th of January, we've still got that setup here where we've got high pressure to the northwest of the British Isles, troughiness, cold weather coming in here, and even the period beyond that, it still looks blocky. It still has northern blocking in place. So you could argue that we get through the first couple of weeks of January and still maintaining the cold pattern. Let's have a look at the 2 meter temperature anomalies here. So this is the upcoming 7-day period here. So this takes us out to the 23rd of December, and we're starting to lose the mild over the British Isles. But then, of course, the period between the 23rd and the 30th, it's below normal. It's colder than normal, and we've got the setup that's been anticipated for so long here. Even the period between the 30th of December, 6th of January, maintaining that cold theme. You could argue that there's milder air trying to push into the northern half of the British Isles here, but you get the overall idea, folks. This pattern, I don't believe, is going to break down when it arrives. Yeah, I'm gonna try either tomorrow or Sunday actually make a forecast for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. And I'll make that call, and then, of course, we'll see if it materializes here. It's always good to make a forecast. There's no point in basing a forecast on individual model runs. You'll have about 20 different forecasts, different outlooks, different scenarios if you go by every single run of the models here. But the trend, the overall idea is that we have this fight in the run up to Christmas. There is still a 50-50 chance that we have snow on the ground Christmas Day across a broad area of the British Isles. But I think the best chance of seeing snow and cold maturing will be actually Boxing Day through New Year's Day. That's my hunch at the moment, and I'll stick to that. But we'll wait and see what happens. So I think I've rambled on long enough. Hope you have a great Friday, a great weekend ahead. Probably busy getting last minute Christmas shopping done. Do take care out there, and I'll be back, of course, in the next couple of days with more. Please, of course, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, visit markhoganweather.com as well. Bye for now.